One time I thought it was snowing, but I was just behind a chicken truck. If your firewood decomposes, that's where you get your worms.
Yeah. About weed barrier first, because you can do this under the mulch, or you can. Some people actually do it over the mulch too.
Go to the store and buy some buttermilk.
Yeah. Carry on.
Yeah.
Tell me what you're saying.
You don't drink it. Good morning, Northwest Arkansas, and all our friends out there in America. My name is Mark.
And I'm Josiah, and you're listening or watching Two Nuts on a Tree, the Rockwell Farms Garden Show. We appreciate you joining us today.
Every Friday.
We've got some pretty good stuff to talk about today. All from don't treat your soil or your dirt.
Oh, my word.
I can't talk.
We didn't rehearse this. Don't treat your soil like dirt.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time on that intro.
Yeah.
Don't treat your soil like dirt.
Well,
it's important.
We got, cold temperature nights coming up, what people should be doing. And
we're going to get down
a
to
whole list of, vegetables that you should have and things that are good for you.
This time of year, your temperatures go high, low, all over the place. One day you'll have really nice temperatures. Next day, colder than a well digger's tip.
How cold is a well digger's tip?
I don't know. You're going to have to ask my mom. She used that phrase all the time.
Is there a certain temperature?
I don't know. You have to ask a well digger.
Yeah.
So, hey, I got a lot of comments here. You want to do them now?
Yeah, let's get into the comment section.
All right. This person has a cool name. Janavi. Hopefully I said it right. Janavi.
That's a pretty cool name.
Yeah, if I had more kids, I'd name him that.
The comment section, the part of the show where we read your comments, whether they're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, or whether they're emailed into the show. You could go to rockwellfarms.com and you can ask your questions there. This helps other gardeners.
I love it how Jessica was late to the party.
She didn't drink coffee either.
All right. He says, each spring I plant a straw bale garden. I want to use Bale Buster from the strawbalegarden.com.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And I found it online at balebuster.com on Amazon, but it's expensive with shipping. Yeah, I don't want to pay for shipping costs. They also advertise that many retailers carry it now. I live nearby your store, and I'm wondering if I can buy 5 of the Bale Buster 4 units from your store this spring. Dude, I don't even know what.
Okay, yeah. Well, let me fill you in. So it's a new. It's not new, but it's.
You're younger than me, so you know all the new stuff.
It's not new, but it is resurfacing, and it's straw bale gardening. Okay. And so essentially,
that's it?
Yeah. So essentially what they're doing is they're getting these straw bales prepped and ready, which is what the Bale Buster is. They're getting these straw bales prepped and ready. So that way they can plant directly in a straw bale. And if you think about it, it holds moisture really well, holds nutrients pretty well.
I know what's going on now.
Yeah.
That's a waste of money. Look.
Well,
let me tell you what straw bale gardening is.
I'll give you my opinion next. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you the redneck way.
Yeah.
All right? You take a bale of straw, you put ammonium nitrate on the top. That ammonium nitrate will break down the carbon of the bale, make it into a very good soil for your plant, and you put your tomato plant in there.
Yeah. So, yes. So essentially what you're doing. Yeah. Well,
that is it.
You're right on the money. Essentially what you're doing is, so when you're doing compost, you have your carbon, which is your brown material, anything brown. In this case, it's straw. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then you have your nitrogen sources, which is usually people will put grass cuttings, something green.
Ammonium nitrate knocks it out real quick.
Exactly. And so,
that is cheap.
My personal opinion, well, now the bale, the product he is talking about, it has beneficial bacteria. It has mycorrhizin. I'll get to that in a second. And then, you need high nitrogen. That's good. Well, that's what's going to force everything to break down and compost in that bale quicker. So it's ready to use. And so essentially what they're doing is they're putting this product on and it speeds up the acceleration. Well, you can do the same thing again with
You can't speed it up faster than ammonium nitrate.
Exactly. So you can use things like urea. Gosh. Don't get us red flagged here on YouTube, man.
Yeah, you can't. You can use urea, but it comes in a big bag. 3400.
That's exactly what I was going to get to.
Yeah.
Let me jump through this.
Too much?
No, you're okay. You're okay.
I'll listen.
Here's what I would do.
I'll watch it
personally.
I'll just watch
Here's what I would do.
Well, after the show. Tell me what you would do.
I would sprinkle urea on there, and then I would use.
You pee on the bale? We're trying to sell stuff.
There is nitrogen in your
Okay,
urine.
will you move on?
But no, urea. It's high
ridiculous.
nitrogen. And then you're going to use, I would use the Espoma. I said that right this week. Espoma, the Biotone, because it has mycorrhiza and it has beneficial bacteria in there. So you're getting everything that you need, but it's way cheaper, in my opinion. You could get that at most garden centers.
Throw some ammonium nitrate on it.
Okay, yeah.
It'll break down that bale in a flash.
You can do the same thing, way cheap, you know. Now, with the bale gardening, you have to let it break down because what happens is your bale starts composting. You don't want to put it in there
It'll get hot.
Your bale is still hot. Exactly, yeah.
So after you're done cooking weenies over it, it's good.
Yeah. When the flies have moved away from it and the heat mirages on top of it are gone, you're in good shape.
But Janavi, I'm serious. You know, put some ammonium nitrate down on your bale, and it'll break down that bale quicker than scat, and it'll be ready to plant in before you know it.
You can save you. I think the product he's talking about is around $60, and then you add shipping, which could be $70, and for 5 bales.
That's just like that's just lack of education. That's all that is. Use ammonium nitrate, break it down. I mean, yeah, you could use ammonium. You could use a big bag of urea, but it comes in a big bag and it take you a long time to use it. I mean, hey, if you have a lot of bales of straw, fine. Buy some straight urea, which is 4500, and that's pretty high concentrated nitrogen.
So you don't have to use as much.
Right.
You can do way more bales, in my opinion.
And it'll go a long way. And the nice thing about nitrogen, it doesn't really reside in the soil. It'll break down that carbon before you know it. In a couple of weeks, you'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
Now, the outside temperatures has a lot to do with it also. Yeah. So do it in full sun. That's fine. Put down urea, 4500, or you can use a small bag of ammonium nitrate.
But you have to keep those hay bales wet.
Either one will work.
Yeah.
Ammonium nitrate will hover around 34%.
Yeah.
Yeah, wet it down because your water, the nitrogen, and the carbon from the straw is a great compost
to get you cooking.
That's a great environment. Yeah, it'll cook and be ready for you. And then you can add your mycorrhiza, mix in your mycorrhiza after that.
Your royal gold, your
nitrogen will destroy your mycorrhiza. Okay, when it gets that hot, it'll destroy all your beneficial bacteria. So once you have that nitrogen on the carbon, you will have some natural bacteria after it's done cooking.
Yeah, goodness, yes. Anytime you have organic matter composting, you're going to have a whole bunch of beneficial bacteria.
And then to keep it on the organic side, because I know that urea. Man, it's straight nitrogen. It's not really organic. Well, think about it. Yeah, I'd say. Yeah. I'd say it's on the organic side, but it's just something wildly crazy.
Yeah.
But after it's done cooking, then you can use your grow and just do your organic gardening right there.
Yeah. And there is an upside of doing bales because it holds nutrients really, really well.
Yeah. It's good. And, it's a bale of straw. It's over 2 foot.
Yeah.
And so you have your own little raised bed.
Yeah, absolutely. You do.
Yep.
That's great.
Sharon says, what deer repellent do you recommend for the vegetable garden?
Critter Go. Yeah. Critter Go by Fertilome or Bob-X.
Yeah. Well, now what happened was, oh man, that's a long story.
Yeah.
Years ago, I met the creator of
Bob-X.
No. He was a bald-headed guy that had an eye that went off to the side. I will never forget him. And so he was a cool dude. He created the deer repellent that was in deer and rabbit.
Liquid Fence?
Liquid Fence. Thank you. The creator of Liquid Fence. Then years went by and it was bought out by a bigger company. Mm-hmm. They changed the formulation. It made me mad. Got a lot of complaints on it. And so then I went back to the trade show and met the guy that developed Bob X. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was the big thing at the trade show. All these, because it was in North Carolina, a lot of North Carolina growers who grew trees had problem with deer and rabbit eating on the Christmas trees. Okay. So he was the #1 seller for deer repellent in that area of North Carolina. Because some of the growers told me, dude, you got to go check out, this guy with Bob X. His name was Bob. That's how he got the name. Yeah. Bob.
Yeah.
So everybody knew Bob. So I started carrying Bob X. And great product. I mean, people really loved it.
Phenomenal.
Now, Fertilome has the same formulation of Bob X, and that is the Critico.
And it's cheaper.
Yeah, that's why I like it.
Cheaper.
Yeah.
Same stuff.
So Fertilome is a company that's been around before me, and before my grandpa. They've been around forever.
Yeah.
So I really like Fertilome's products. So yeah, Critico, that'll work for you. That's the one I recommend for your vegetable garden because it's totally organic. So you can spray it on your lettuce and eat it the same day. It'll taste a little wacky, but
well, I want to say that they make it super easy as well because they have ready to use, they have ready to spray. Which is so ready to use is just a spray bottle, and then ready to use hooks up to your hose if you need to spray, go through the yard. And then they have one that has a battery. Critico has one that has a battery pack sprayer connected to it.
That's right.
So you don't have to mix it all. It's just ready for you, and you just go through and spray around.
Yeah,
your
because
area.
it does smell, and a lot of people don't want it on their hands.
No.
Now the concentrate, I will tell you this: you could do a 15-foot perimeter around your yard. And that will keep the deer from going into your yard. And so if you want to protect your entire yard, you can do that. And what will happen is that deer are victims of habit. That's why a deer hunter will always put his stand in the same spot because deer are stupid. They do to that deer stand, bang, dead.
Yeah.
So, deer hunters know that deer are victims of habit. So once you change their habit from coming into your yard, they'll start going into your neighbor's yard. And that's what you want to do.
That's pretty
Just don't
good.
tell them that you use it. Because then they'll start using it. Now you have competing.
Don't tell your neighbor or the deer.
Yeah. Don't tell your neighbor that you're using Critico. And because he'll wonder, man, my deer population is pretty high over here.
Now I want to say it is a fear repellent. You have different types of repellent as well. Now it's a fear repellent, and
Don't be afraid to buy
it. Yeah.
You're really not selling the product.
No. It's a fear repellent. So when the deer smell it, it triggers their senses. Be quiet, Mark.
That's fine.
It triggers their senses that they're in danger, and they get out of there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So next time you're afraid of doing something, just use a little Critico, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right, we're going next to Randall. Randall says, hi, y'all. I was wondering, I like that. I was wondering if you could email me the apple tree care sheet. Well, sure we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or you can go to fertilome.com. He says, is that something you can do? Yeah. I love to learn from what that has. I love to learn from what that has on it. Thank you. And also, thanks for doing your YouTube show. We love it. Oh, cool, man. I'm glad I read the whole email.
That's encouraging. Yeah, for sure.
Hey,
what we can also do is Jess can put that link in the description to that one video that we talk about for tree care.
because Fertilome plagiarized all my stuff.
They're good guys.
They did. They plagiarized me. So, Tony, if you're out there listening, I'm on to you. I'm serious, man.
Wait a second.
I wrote it up.
You sent it into them, though. Yeah, you sent that into them.
Yeah, for clarification, okay? Because I had nobody to talk to. They plagiarized the whole thing.
Hey, we could get some money out of them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's a good sheet. I can testify.
You might want to clarify what you just said. Didn't sound right.
It's a good sheet. I can clarify.
Sheet of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good information.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning. Do you sell live moss? No, but we have products that kill it.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Moss Max.
Yeah,
if
Moss
you're trying
Max.
to get rid of it.
If you're trying to get rid of moss.
Yeah.
But hey, I got you covered, okay? If you want to grow moss, look, don't buy it. That's just a waste of your money. Go to the store and buy some buttermilk. Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah.
Tell me what you're saying.
You don't drink it. Look, These guys that sell rock, okay, in the rock industry, the rock that has moss on it, people pay premium price for that, don't they?
I just went through this week. Yeah.
All right.
Picking out the rock without the moss was a lot cheaper.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So pick out the rock without the moss, take some buttermilk and put it on that rock, which is a lot cheaper. Couple weeks, you'll have moss all over your rock.
A mossy rock with buttermilk.
Serious.
I have never heard that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. The culture process of buttermilk will create moss in a couple of weeks. That's all they do. And when they sell the rock,
No kidding.
yeah, they pour buttermilk on the rock and they charge you a lot more.
Now, does it have to be fresh buttermilk, or can you get it from the store, buttermilk?
Yeah, from the store.
Because the process a little different. Does it make a difference?
Don't get technical.
Okay.
I just always went to the store. I just go to the store and get buttermilk. I don't
Buttermilk,
ask if this is, farm aged or something.
I can't imagine getting on a job and they go, I ordered mossy rocks, not regular rocks, and trying to pour buttermilk on it. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all you do. Buttermilk.
What else you got?
Yeah, we got a lot of emails, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking for 2 large mimosa trees. Thank you. Well, we don't have them.
Yeah, we don't carry the. Well, I'll tell you why we don't have them. For one, they're invasive. Okay, and so if we carry them here at the nursery, they pop up in every other tree that we've got, and so
Yeah, people need to know that.
Yeah,
It'll turn into a grove before you know it.
yeah, you'll have them popping up in your fence line everywhere. Yes.
Here's Debbie. We have a sugar maple tree that is about 20 years old. The last couple of years, the bark on the trunk has turned black. Okay, that's not good. And even come loose and broken in some spots.
Ooh, I have a hypothesis.
Yeah, I do too. It's not good. The tree where the bark has come off looks dead. Do you know what this could be and if the tree can be saved? I tried to send you a picture. Okay. Look, you can send me a picture of the tree directly to my the company email at rockwellfarms@att.net. Mm-hmm. That's rockwellfarms@att.net. And I'll take a look at it and I'll zoom in on it. Look, if it's black rot, there's absolutely nothing you can do. Black rot is extremely bad. There's no cure for it except replace the tree. Now, if it's not black rot, which, send me the picture and I'll take a look at it. If it's not that, I would say that more than likely you have a infestation of borers. Yeah.
I knew it.
Borers will do that. In the dead areas, it'll turn black and that portion of the tree will die. So send me a picture and I'll take a look at it. But look at, it sounds like you have really bad ones. So it would probably be 1/4-inch holes in your tree, and you'll see it in your tree, 1/4-inch holes. And that'll either be a borer beetle, more than likely. And if it is a borer beetle, that is treatable with the tree and shrub drench from Fertilome.
Yeah.
It's so easy to use. And here at the nursery, I think a couple weeks ago, we showed you that we have pamphlets on every product, every chemical that we sell. Because here at Rockwell Farms, you don't have that deer in the headlight look. You ever seen that at Lowe's and Home Depot and stuff?
Real confused on what?
Yeah, what can I buy? Need. How do I use it?
Yeah.
How do I not kill my family? I mean, that's what people are thinking.
Absolutely.
So here at the nursery, I even say, I give comments on this stuff that I would not use this product on my vegetables, even though it's listed. Mm-hmm. I'm very adamant about that.
Yeah.
Like
broad spectrum.
Cyfluthrum.
Okay.
Is a chemical that is listed for vegetables, but there's no way I'd use it on my vegetables.
Yeah.
And there's cyanura. The main ingredient is cyanura. It's totally listed for vegetables, but I there's no way I would. There's so many other products that will do the same thing in an organic way that won't kill your family.
Absolutely.
And you know what really upsets me is that there's products out there with that imidacloprid, which is in the tree and shrub, imidacloprid. There's a product out there, I'm not going to mention the company's name, but they also make aspirin. They sell this. They sell imidacloprid in their product, and they have on their vegetables, and it's kind of like once and done. You don't have to worry about it again. But if you read that small print, it'll say stuff like, "Do not harvest within 45 days. Do not harvest within 14 days." I mean, what are you going to do? Rope your vegetable garden off?
No kidding.
It's insane. It really upsets me.
Yeah.
And so the chemicals that we sell here, organic and non-organic, I've commented on why you should not use it on your vegetables. Because, like I said, that deer in the headlight look, I've seen it a lot. I can't even walk through the chemical aisle of a chain store without people stopping me. Apparently, my voice is kind of unique, you know. I'll say hi to them and say, "Aren't you?" "Yeah, I am."
Yeah.
"Well, can you help me?" Like I work here, you know. And the next thing you know, my wife is done shopping and I'm still in the chemical aisle of another store.
I would tell them, come over to Rockwell Farms.
Yeah.
We'll help
So
you.
Debbie, send me a picture at Rockwell Farms. Then that's plural. Rockwell Farms at att.net, and I'll zoom in on it.
There you go.
Hopefully it's not black rot. This one is just landscaping services, no name. Yes, I'm looking for 3-gallon Franklin Gem boxwoods. Would you carry those or can you order those? Yeah, I understand the Franklin Gem boxwoods. Look, a lot of the times when you see stuff in the magazines, catalogs, I know it looks really great, but they're kind of hard to get or frustrating to get. We do not carry the Franklin Gem boxwoods. There's other varieties out there. I know it has that lime green to it, and you can trim it down to where it's a 2-foot by 2-foot boxwood, which is in high demand. But there's other alternatives out there, like your tater tot arborvitae, your Mr. Bowling Ball arborvitae.
Yeah.
You have your winter gem boxwood, which is 2x2. Your baby gem boxwood.
Yes.
Your sprinter boxwood.
Yep.
By Proven Winners.
Yep. Your dwarf Korean or dwarf English.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's the English boxwood.
Love that one.
The English boxwood is cool. I'm glad
nice, petite, round.
You can have that sucker 15 inches by 15 inches in your vegetable garden or whatever garden you have. Any garden.
Yeah.
And that way you're not looking naked during the wintertime and it's not overcoming your garden. That is an underrated plant, the English boxwood.
Yeah, I love the English boxwood. We just planted some of those this week for some customers. But yeah, I'm with you. Also, I would also keep in mind when it comes brand specific, you know, you might get a name over here, but they have the same item over here, but because of patent reasons and all of that, it has a different name. We run across that all the time. Same shrub, different name, different growers.
Now, Debbie says, how do I prune a 9-bark? Well, first of all, 9-bark is a very good, cool shrub.
Yes, it is.
It's native. It looks great. There's one that's tan and there's one that's black.
Proven Winners has this one, ginger. Their ginger 9-bark.
The tan one.
Yeah.
That's the hottest seller.
It's a great one. It is a gingery red color, and then it gets that kind of black color. Mm-hmm. And then as it gets bigger, it does get kind of that peely bark. Mm-hmm. But I would say they're pretty forgiving with trimming.
Yeah.
So you can trim that pretty much any time in spring.
Whack it now.
Is a great time to do that.
They're just now starting to bud out, so she's good. I would trim it right above the bud.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would do it right
back a little bit.
Yeah, I would do it right now. So now's your great time to trim most of your items that are in the garden.
You know what? We have 9-bark trees here, don't we?
We
Tree
do.
form 9-barks, right?
Diablo, yeah. And so they have this beautiful peeling bark, that beautiful black foliage, purpley black foliage.
It's like a 9-bark on a stick,
and then pinkish white little lacy flowers. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. 9-bark on a stick.
It is. Yeah. Not on a stick.
We've never had those before.
It's the first time.
We had them last year, and they overwintered.
And we had the shrub form.
Well, we've had the shrub form for a long time,
but never the tree form. Yeah.
Now we do.
Yeah.
Do y'all have sugar maple trees? And if so, what prices on them? Oh, we have tons of sugar maple trees.
Goodness, yeah. My favorite.
I can't even start.
Like Fall Fiesta is in the sugar.
Oh, that one's a good one.
Or Flash Fire is also in the sugar maple family. Or Urban Sunset is technically in the sugar maple family.
Yep. I think that's my favorite tree. That is an awesome
the
one.
Urban Sunset.
Multicolored leaf.
Yeah, on the yes, so it's a bright red leaf, but on the outside of the leaf in fall, it's a purple burgundy color.
And it has that big leaf too.
Yeah. Goodness.
And you know, sugar maples are extremely strong. They use sugar maples in gymnasium floors because the wood is so hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So sugar maple will last for a lifetime. They get huge. They're beautiful. Every fall, you can always see where the sugar maples are.
Yeah, they have the most color. I would agree. Yeah.
All right, and moving on. Last one is Charles. I'm looking for a pecan tree and also a southern wax myrtle. Let me know if this is something you have or could get. All right, southern wax myrtle. No, I will never have those. That's further south. Southern wax myrtle will just die out every winter here.
Yeah.
So you need to move to Texas.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But on the pecan trees, I can't help you on that. On the pecan trees, the best varieties, of course, are the paper shell. That's the one that has a very fine shell to it where you can crack it open.
Yeah.
And stick with your Indian varieties. I'm talking about Kiowa, Pawnee,
Ochita.
Sioux,
So, yeah.
Cato.
Yeah.
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 The only one is Elliott Indian. Elliott's a good variety.
It is a good variety.
But I don't know if there's a tribe, Elliott tribe. I don't know.
I don't know about that one,
But stick with your Indian varieties and you'll be fine. Now, you do need to understand on your pecan trees, they're not pecans either, okay? They got pecans up north. Here in the south, we have pecan trees, okay? There's a difference. So there's a type 1 and a type 2. Did you get that?
Yeah, I'm a little backwards there.
There's a type 1 and a type 2 on pecan trees. So if you buy all type 1, you won't have any pecans. You got to have type 1 and type 2. It's like brother and sister. So here at the nursery, we will tell you which one's type 1 and type 2. So
Absolutely.
You have to have two pecan trees.
We won't lead you in the wrong direction.
And
on
you
your
have to have a
pecans.
type 1 and a type 2.
And I'll tell you what, they've been really hard to find for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Very hard to find.
Because a lot of the growers had to replenish the groves. And so us nurserymen were having trouble getting them.
Yeah.
But now that they're done, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes a freeze would come through and stuff. I don't know what happened, but yeah, seems like every 2 to 3 years I have trouble getting pecan trees. But we're fully stocked this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And once they get in the ground, they're pretty darn hard.
What do we have? Like 100 of them?
Probably more. Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot back there.
All right. Hey, that's it, man. I'm sorry that.
Wow,
there's
that was a long comment section. Hey, if you're new to the show and this is your first time listening, those comments, obviously, they come from you. You can comment on our show or you can email the show at rockwellfarms.com.
I want to talk about crucifers.
Okay, crucifers.
Yeah, crucifers.
Okay, vegetables.
Yeah.
Okay, cold crop vegetables. Tell me, I want to know what crucifer means.
Where did they get the name?
Yes.
All right, it's because the blossoms of these plants come out as a cross.
So they call it crucifer.
Yeah.
Like crucifix.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Crucifer.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So when you're eating the cold crops, you can remember Jesus.
Absolutely. Better say grace.
That's where they get it, man. They get it from the cross. Where else do you get the cross except from Jesus?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
So, yeah, the blossoms represent a cross when they come out. So your cruciferous plants will be your what we call crow crops. It's like your bok choy.
Okay.
I love that name.
Yeah.
Bok choy.
Bok choy.
Broccoli, Brussels sprouts. I run them down so I wouldn't forget.
Okay.
Yeah, don't want to leave cold
for it.
crops out.
Yeah.
Because we'll get emails saying, hey, you left, cabbage out.
Brassicas.
Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, kale, radish, and turnips.
Now, these are ones that you don't have to worry about in the garden right now with the cooler night temperatures.
Plant them.
Especially with your broccolis, your cauliflowers, and your cabbage, because they actually get sweeter with some of that cooler temperatures or late frost.
They're low calorie. They're rich in folate. This is what I like about them because you get vitamins in these the cruciferous plants, the cold crops. You get certain varieties of vitamins in those that you do not get in others, especially Special K, the cereal. What a nut job.
Where you at?
Vitamin K, vitamin C, and vitamin E. Those are the 3. So E and K are 2 vitamins, especially K, are vitamins that are not readily available in other vegetables that you get in your cold crops.
Right.
That's why I wanted to mention this because vitamin Ks are awfully important. And they're high in fiber. People don't know that. They're high in fiber.
I want to know about is rutabaga. Can you tell me about rutabaga?
Yeah, I'm not there yet, though.
Okay. Because
that's under
you mentioned it before
plant.
the show.
I know. Because
Okay.
nobody talks about it.
Well, I would like to know.
Rutabaga is a good substitute for potatoes.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Mix that with turnips. You get some spicy potatoes.
Wow. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, rutabaga is great because you can mix it in with your potatoes and it gives it a little different flavor. But we'll get into that.
Okay.
But the nice thing about most of your cruciferous vegetables are the reason why with the vitamins and so forth, they have a lot of antioxidants and they help alleviate cancer. And I'm all about that.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
They did a big study on it. What was this? I forgot where I got it, but I read it. Peggy Pletcher, she has this MS, RD, LD, CDE. I read all of her stuff from healthline.com.
Uh-huh.
And she went on and on about the it being an anti-cancerous group of vegetables.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is Brussels sprouts in there? Mm-hmm. Well, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So don't forget about your bok choy, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, kale, radish, and turnips.
Those you can plant right now. Don't miss this window of opportunity to get those in the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people forget about, when most people think garden, they're thinking tomatoes, cucumbers. They're not thinking about your cold crop, early season vegetables that you can get started in early spring or late winter to early spring, or even in fall. Think about those things in fall.
Which brings us to the rutabaga. Because it takes a while for that seed to germinate. At least 14 days. I'd say 21.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the reason why I like rutabaga is because it has a lot of antioxidant properties, anti-aging too, huh?
Yeah, there you go.
Spread it on your face.
Yeah. Rutabaga on the face.
Now, hold on. It's really good for your digestive health as well.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Like a lot of people, when they think of fiber, what do they think about? Oats and grain, right?
Oh, yeah, maybe so.
Yeah. Well, rutabaga.
Prunes.
This will keep you regular. Rutabaga keeps you regular.
Keep it regular.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has great immune system health. Strong bones because it's high in calcium, and people that have diabetes have this in their diet.
Rutabaga for diabetes
because it kind of combats their sugar problem, kind of levels them out.
No kidding. Mm-hmm. No kidding.
I think it ties up the sugar actually.
Really binds it, huh?
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
So anyway, it has a lot of amazing health benefits to it. Controls your blood pressure. I'm serious. You need to people out there need to do more research on the rutabaga because as one vegetable that we don't sell much. I use it and I make sure it's in our daily diet. We mix it in with potatoes and it kind of gives it a very good flavor. So if you look for something that you can mix in with your diet that gives you a different flavor of your potatoes and some of the starchy items, put it in rutabaga. Yeah, rutabaga and a little butter. Oh man, I got more on that too. Wow. Once again, vitamin C, fiber, magnesium, potassium, calcium. I mentioned calcium. Iron and zinc. Yep, zinc. Zinc is one of those things that you only need a real small percentage of, but it's very important in your overall health.
Well, just last week we were talking about some of this, especially with the iron, how important it is to get iron into your body. Mm-hmm. About with plants and then also just meats that you eat. And
potassium helps with your blood pressure. I do know that.
Potassium. For cramps and muscle recovery. There you go. Potassium is very important for those things. So
if you don't like bananas,
you're in trouble. Yeah.
Rutabaga. So, I mean, like I said, a healthy digestive system. Yeah, it keeps you regular. It's very good for constipation. Yeah, I'm serious. Rutabaga keeps you regular, which is very important when you get my age. Okay.
Leave the old prune juice out.
So anyway, man, I go on and on that. Do your own research. It's really good.
Yeah, man, I want to talk about not treating your soil like dirt.
Well, you started the show with that.
Well, yeah, I think it's very important. Oftentimes in the garden, we are just putting our plants in the garden and not even thinking about it. If you're newer to gardening or you've been just planting them for a while and having all these problems pop up, this is a big deal. This is a big deal.
Reason why we say don't treat your soil like dirt is because if you focus on the organic way of things, you will look. There's two methods of growing your plants. You can have your soil feed your plants, or you can have the fertilizer feed your plants.
Yes.
If you're using synthetics, okay, it's kind of like crack cocaine. You'll get quick growth, good growth, but dude, once you stop using it, that plant is suffering. For one thing.
Yeah.
Secondly, what you put into the plant is what you're putting into your body.
Yes.
So though synthetic fertilizers is just to grow your plant, and you're putting absolutely none of these very good beneficial nutrients. It's nutrients produced by the plant rather than the fertilizer is much healthier for your body.
Yeah, and I want to add in, if you are giving them synthetic fertilizer versus organic gardening, what you're also doing that you don't even think about is you're ruining the plant's relationship with things like the mycorrhiza and beneficial bacteria. Because if you give a plant synthetic fertilizer and just feed it that way, the plant's just going to take that every time.
Yeah.
It's
dependent on the fertilizer.
And that's part of the freak out that it has, is it's ruined that symbiotic relationship that it has with the natural way God made it around it. You know.
Speaking of symbiotic relationship, talk about Biotone. That's one of our
Biotone. Yeah, from Espoma.
Yeah.
Now, Biotone, it has mycorrhiza in it, and a lot of people don't know what that is. That's fine, but mycorrhiza is basically. It's a fungus.
Fungi.
It's a fungi.
It's not boring. It's a fungi.
And it's different.
He didn't.
You are a fun guy.
Yeah.
I am a fun guy.
There you go.
There we go.
Not boring.
I got that. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Jessica.
Oh, I am a fun guy. Anyway, so it's different types of fungi, beneficial fungi that are in your soil or your dirt. And the reason that this is so important is this is the natural way.
Yeah.
What happens is that mycorrhiza, that fungi, has these tiny, tiny little hairs, but it attaches to the root hairs of your plant. And basically, the easiest way to sum this up is it's your plant's extension of a root system.
Yeah.
Because it fuses to the roots, has that symbiotic relationship with your plants, and it can mine a lot deeper in the dirt for nutrients and for moisture. In exchange, the mycorrhiza, the fungi, gets carbs and sugar from your plant, and then the mycorrhiza returns minerals, nutrients, and moisture.
And so you see mycorrhiza in a lot of the potting mixes in the chain stores and stuff like that, but they don't tell you how much mycorrhiza. With Biotone, you're buying 100% mycorrhiza, and also you're buying beneficial bacteria.
Yes.
Beneficial bacteria is measured actually in CFUs, colonizing forming units. Colonizing forming units, CFUs. So mycorrhiza has 936 CFUs in it, which is extremely high with the beneficial bacteria. So that beneficial bacteria attacks the fertilizer that you put down, the organic fertilizer, and makes it and creates it into usable form. And then then you also have the mycorrhiza, which breaks it down and
breaks down that organic matter that's in the dirt, whether it's roots that are bad or whatever, and it turns all of that into usable form of nutrients.
Let's talk about cottonburr compost.
Yeah.
Cottonburr compost is the cottonseed hulls after they've harvested the cotton. They always have that thatch, which is the you have the cotton burrs, and so they take that and they compost it. And the nice thing about cotton is it's a legume, so it has a high nitrogen content.
Yes, it does.
So the cottonburr compost, I think, has around 9% nitrogen added to your soil as well. But the nice thing about it is that it keeps you from having root rot in clay soils. It breaks down the clay, and it adds nutritional value to it.
Absolutely. So it'll aerate. It will feed your plant. But breaking up that really clumpy dirt.
Yeah.
It's very important. You'll have much better success. Like your tomatoes need about 16 to 18 inches depth of root space. And so that will help break some of that up so you have healthy rooted tomatoes that are taken off. And using it with that Biotone, even better because you're getting the mycorrhiza, the microbes, and the aeration, everything you need.
So it gives you organic matter and improves your structure. Another thing that improves your structure would be your vermiculite. And make sure that you get the horticultural grade. I think it'd be like number 4. But anyway, coarse grade, horticultural grade vermiculite. The cool thing about vermiculite is it's a multifunctional thing. Number 1 is organic. Vermiculite is actually a rock. It's volcanic rock that was heat treated, kind of puffs up into a very light substrate. And vermiculite has high, what we call cation exchange capacity. I know that's a big word, but it actually has an electronic charge to it. So it will hold nutrients on that vermiculite until the plant is ready for it. So that is one function that vermiculite has. Second function is it gives you aeration or porosity into your soil, meaning that it lets the water go through. The reason why that's important is because your roots have to have air in the soil, or they might be green, but they'll be stunted. And therefore you might have root rot.
So just a free little tip out there for those who are listening. I have used vermiculite in all of my cuttings now.
Oh,
because it holds the nutrients well when it's ready, when the plant's ready for it, but also it holds water. It stays it's kind of spongy, but also I do not get root rot in my cuttings, which is the most common problem for most people that are propagating.
Because you can have that high humidity right there at the cutting without having water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it holds that water so well, but I get no root rot. I've had way better success in all of the cuttings using vermiculite.
Yep. And so on the other flip side of it, you have your sphagnum peat moss.
Yeah.
Now, I know that Michigan produces sphagnum peat moss, and it is cheaper than the Canadian peat moss. And I understand, I get it, but we do not do the Michigan, and I'll tell you why. It has a lot to do with the fiber content. The fibers of Canadian peat moss are just a lot better than Michigan. I really can't explain why, but it's always had better water holding capacity. I felt like over the years it's a lot cleaner. I have a lot less of the debris that I do not want, and so I've always sold Canadian peat moss by Fertilome.
Canadian sphagnum peat moss. Yeah.
And so here at Rockwell Farms, we call it the Magnificent Seven. It's 1/3 Cottonburg compost, 1/3 vermiculite, and 1/3 Canadian sphagnum peat moss. And that gives you the ideal growing medium for all your vegetables.
Now, whether you're doing those in a raised garden or container gardening, or you're just trying to fix up the dirt that you have there that you want to just do an in-ground garden, those work all direction.
Let me give you a little tip. If you're doing a raised bed with the Magnificent Seven, you do not have to have it going all the way down.
No.
Let's say,
agreed.
Because here at Rockwell Farms in our test garden, I think that we used cinder blocks years ago, and it's about 32 inches.
Yeah.
All right, which comes right about waist high. It's perfect for going and reaching, gathering. Right?
Yeah.
Of that 32 inches, we have 18 inches of firewood.
Yes, we do. A lot of firewood under there, leaves, decomposing yard matter. Fill it up. There's no need to go and spend all this money to fill that. I'm in perfect agreement with you.
At most, you need 18 inches at most of the Magnificent Seven.
Most of your vegetables, you can get away with a foot, but things like peppers and tomatoes, you have to have 16 to 18 inches for optimal growth. Yeah.
So... And then as your firewood decomposes, that's where you get your worms.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that will turn into really good black, rich soil after a couple of years. You need to think about this. As you're fertilizing on top, that fertilizer goes down and it decomposes that firewood.
Yes.
So you have all that. You have
organic forest material without it.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So that's a big money saver right there.
And it'll save you a little bit of money on fertilizer because it's all, it's all in there.
That's
right.
It's
all in there.
Yep.
And you can turn those every few years as well.
I've never turned mine. I have never turned mine because something like tomato, I'd be nice and fluffy on the top, and then it gets down into that firewood, which is less fluffy, which is good. And it holds and so I have all that organic matter on the bottom, and that's where the roots just really, and that holds the nitrogen, that holds the fertilizer a lot better than on the top.
And moisture.
Just because of its microbial content.
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go.
Rocking and rolling in
mulch.
the garden.
Let's talk about mulch. Mulching, because a lot of people don't know about mulching your vegetables.
Well, before we start with the mulch, I also want to talk about weed barrier first, because you can do this under the mulch, or you can, some people actually do it over the mulch too. But the whole purpose of your weed barrier is obviously so you don't have weeds coming up. But an important thing that it does is it keeps the moisture in your garden beds, and it works really, really great at that. So if you have an area that, just like on a landscape job we were just at, where it's a drier area, putting down that weed barrier is going to help keep you in some moisture. And you can certainly do mulch on the top of that. Or if it's in your garden beds, like back there, we don't do weed barrier. We just do the pine bark mulch.
Yeah, the very fine grade pine bark mulch, and I really like that.
I love it.
Yeah, it's totally organic. It breaks down every year, and it just adds to the substrate of your soil.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What next? You want to talk about fertilizers real quick?
Yeah.
Royal Gold.
Royal Gold for sure. So well, man, I can't get over their fertilizers.
I like it because it's multifunctional.
Yeah.
You have your beneficial bacteria, you have your organic fertilizer, and it always increases the microbial growth of your soil. That is your key ingredient to what we're talking about, okay? When you use Royal Gold fertilizers, you are creating that substrate to where your soil is feeding your plant and not the fertilizer.
Correct.
I cannot say that enough. And the reason why I like Royal Gold is because we've gone through every single organic company, and it is amazing how little of the Royal Gold that you have to use. It comes to tablespoons.
Yes.
You use like a tablespoon per plant. The other ones, we're using a cup. Right?
We were
Because it
going
was
through
full of
so many
feather meal.
bags. Well,
It's full of feather meal.
Yeah.
It
So
frustrated
here's
us.
the other thing, though,
I don't
is
want
that
feathers.
we were using more of the other organic fertilizers and then having to use them way more often to get the results we wanted. With Royal Gold, it was we would use them. It would last a lot farther. It would go a lot farther.
4 or 5
It's
weeks.
a smaller micron, so it breaks down a lot quicker. It's more nutrient ready available for the plants. And then the other thing is we didn't have to keep using it as boom, 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 boom. You know, it lasted forever.
Yeah. So you get a big bang for your buck. And I read all the boring stuff. And so some of the other stuff, when you get into feather meal and you get into bird poop.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Which is the main ingredient in most other organic fertilizers.
Chicken manure. Yeah.
It really upsets me because we even had a representative here, and I told him why I didn't like his brand.
Yeah.
We won't mention the brand, okay? But I told him why I didn't like it. I said, because look, you cannot heat treat it. If you heat treat it enough to kill all the hormones and the pesticides and the bactericides that you inject with the feed that you feed these birds, right?
Yep,
It's in the feed, right?
Yep.
The hormones and all the pesticides is in the feed.
Yeah.
Right? And so you cannot heat treat their poop enough to get that out. Now, if you do heat treat their poop enough to get all that out, you just destroyed all the beneficiaries of using that organic fertilizer.
Yeah, you killed all the microbes.
You killed all the microbes. You totally devastated the beneficial part. So you can't have both.
Yeah.
And the reason why I like Royal Gold is, and they explained it well, and I did my own research, is from what, seagulls?
Yeah, it's seabird guano, which comes from.
This is where here we go. War over it.
Which comes from this guano islands, and there were wars over the guano islands
over poop.
Because of agriculture. Yeah. Now, the guano islands, if you don't know what that is, it's basically islands of bird poop.
Yeah.
But the difference between chicken manure and seabird guano is seabird guano, it's natural. They're just catching fish.
Yeah.
And all of the fish that comes from the ocean, they're just catching fish, and it comes from these islands.
Yeah.
And so they put this in there, and it's way more nutrient dense. It's not got all these biotic crap, yada yada.
Yeah.
No,
it hasn't been heat
pesticides.
treated.
Yeah, so it's totally natural. Now we often opt out for chicken manure and feather meal from chickens because it's super cheap.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper.
We live in Chicken USA, man, right here in Northwest Arkansas. And so, we have Tyson's, we have George's, we have Simmons, we have all these different chicken places. It's just dirt cheap and readily available, so we use it.
One time I thought it was snowing, but I was just behind a chicken truck.
Chicken truck. Stuck behind
crazy.
the chicken truck.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. What else? Pesticides. You want to talk about pesticides?
Yeah, talking about using in your vegetable garden.
We should do that on next show. I want to talk about pesticides because we weren't really prepared on pesticides.
Well, I think we can brief over it really quick.
I want to do a brief over, but we ought to do an in-depth show on the different pesticides because pesticides kind of a dirty name.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
It's a chemical, whether it's organic or not. It's a chemical that we use to kill bugs. And I'm a huge advocate. This is something that I really go off on.
Yeah.
I'm a huge advocate of killing the bug and not killing your kids.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
In the deer in the headlight look, we do not have here at Rockwell Farms because we have those sheets that tell you exactly what it does and what it kills. And that there's like insecticide. I'm a big fan of insecticidal soap. I'm a big fan of, we need to talk about the neem oil by Bonide, okay? How it is a compressed neem oil and how it's processed and so forth. We might even have the representative of Bonide on the show because people need to know about the different. It matters how you process neem oil. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So I really want to get into the uses of neem oil and also horticultural oil.
Pyrethrins.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Why pyrethrins are really good. And permethrin, even though it's not organic, it can be used safely.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So you have your organic, okay, you're totally OMRI registered organics.
Yes.
And then you have your permethrin, which is totally safe, but it's not organic.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've kind of already done the research for you. And then you have your spinosad, which is totally organic. And then you have your spinosad soap. And I want to go over what the difference is on those two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, we can do a whole show.
We can
just
so
on
get into that.
On organic pesticides.
Absolutely.
We don't have time for it now, dude.
Hey, why don't we get into time to apply?
Oh, man, we should have done that at the beginning.
Yeah, I know we should have.
I rattled on.
Oh.
All right.
Time to apply things that you can be applying in your garden right now.
Hold on, man. I was listening to the music a little bit. All right, go ahead.
The first one's 5-Star Fescue. 5-Star Fescue is a blend of 5 different seeds. In your sun mix, you have 3 seeds that germinate in sun and 2 for shade. So that way, if you have underneath the tree, you're still going to get some grass. Yep. Now, 5-Star Fescue is green 12 months out of the year. It's an evergreen grass. So even in the dead of winter, you're still going to have a beautiful green lawn. It's like a nice shag carpet. And then we also have the shade mix, which is the opposite of the sun mix. It's got 3 seeds that are gonna germinate in the shade and 2 for the sun. So if you have a shade of your backyard, but you still have some dappled spots where sun gets in, that's a great mix for you. Also, I would be using the Fertilome Lawn Starter with Starting Your Seed. That's really going to help you get in the right direction.
Yeah.
And keeping in mind, when you're starting your seed, you want to be watering day and night for 14 days straight. Your seed will germinate with the 5-Star Fescue. I've had it pop up in 7 days.
Yeah, 10 days.
You have beautiful, beautiful green. The next one on the list is your tree and shrub food. We've talked about this last week, but your tree and shrub food by Fertilome. It is a slow release fertilizer for your trees. You want to be spreading this around the drip line canopy of your tree where your root system is. If you go up against the trunk, you're not going to be actually feeding the tree as well. You want to make sure you're going along the drip line. But tree and shrub food by Fertilome, slow release fertilizer. It's high in nitrogen, really good for all of those shade trees, keeping them vamped up.
Don't we give 20% off if you buy trees from us?
Yeah, absolutely. So 20% off of that fertilizer.
Yeah,
of a good sized bag of it. It'll last you a little bit.
Yeah.
And then also tree and shrub drench by Fertilome. This is great, especially we were just talking about borers earlier in the show. This will make sure to get rid of those. It's an annual treatment. You only have to do it once per year. Now's the best time to do it. Your tree's absorbing the most right now. If you have damage from borers, that gets into the next one. Also applying Has to Grow Plant Food by Medina. Medina is awesome. It hooks up to your hose, and you can just spray your tree with it. It's a foliar feeding or a root feeding. This is like a lot like putting an IV up in your arm, a quick fix for those trees that are struggling. Maybe if they had a hard time through the winter or are not greening up as much as you'd like them to. That Has to Grow by Medina is a great product, a quick fix, great remedy for those problems.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What type of socks does a female gardener wear?
I don't know.
Garden hose.
Gardening hose. Do you know how to tell the difference between a male and a female tree?
Yeah, tell me. Lift up the leaf and look for nuts. I love that one. Hey, y'all, thank you for joining us. Yeah, we'll be on next week, and why don't you lead us out on where the people can find us?
Yeah, you can find us on anywhere that you find a good podcast. We're on Pandora, Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, and quite a few other places. You can also find us on social media. You can find us Facebook, Instagram, X, and then also the big one, YouTube. YouTube, you can leave your comments below, and we read those comments on this show, so we appreciate you.
You see how ugly we are, too.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week.
Talk to you later.